Hello and welcome to On the Bench, the fortnightly podcast for scale modelers by scale modelers. Available on iTunes, Stitcher, and all good podcast apps. While you're there, don't forget to mark us as your favourite so that you never miss a show.
Hi, I'm Dave and welcome to episode 47. In this episode, we've got Chris Dowsett joining us to talk about, well, nothing in particular. We're just going to be talking about modelling. A round of applause for our new Patreon supporters, Paul Gloucester and Tony Jacob. If you would like to join the ranks of these champions, then simply go to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from $1 upwards. Your ongoing contributions help us to offset the production and publishing costs and are greatly appreciated by myself and the team. Fine Scale Modeler is proud to be the official supporter of On the Bench. Fine Scale Modeler is one of the world's most recognised modelling magazines and can be found in all good newsagents or wherever you purchase your magazines. Alternatively, you can go directly to their website, www.finescale.com, and subscribe to get the magazine home delivered as well as access to their digital edition. Guys, to On the Bench, and in the studio we have Ian. G'day, Ian.
G'day, Dave. G'day, listeners.
Julian.
Hello.
And we have our special guest, Chris. G'day, Chris. Welcome back.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Ian. Hey, Julian.
Right.
So what's been happening since we were last on? Let's start with you, Ian, because you've been pretty busy in the last week or so.
We had down here in Victoria, Australia, we had a 3-day long weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Weather was actually quite mild. So, I got a lot of painting done on the Shikaku.
Very good.
Yes, very happy with that. I can talk about it a bit later, but that's basically what I did. A lot of painting.
Cool. And you posted some pictures up to our Facebook page.
Posted some pictures up, yep.
Which is going gangbusters at the moment. So approximately half of our audience is now on our Facebook page.
Excellent.
So that's really cool.
Good to hear.
And we love hearing from everybody who posts pictures and pictures of their builds and just comments.
Comments, yes.
Really cool.
Yep.
Julian.
Totally agree.
I also spent the weekend doing a lot of painting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean...
Tell me what you're painting.
So I have a small plane that I'm working on that has a checkered nose. And unfortunately, the decal they provided for it was too short.
Oh,
so
no.
I'm gonna have to paint it somehow.
So let me think. Checkered nose, so you must be either a P47 or a P51.
Well, it's a Focke-Wulf.
Checkered nose and a
That'd be
Focke-Wulf.
JG1
I don't know. It's a Focke-Wulf.
from JG1. I think JG1, I think they had the checkered noses.
Don't know.
Checkered or striped.
I think it's an A5.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can tell you.
Where was it based?
I don't know. It's in their instructions
Germany.
somewhere.
No, good chance in, what year is it, 43? 43, 44. Good chance it was based in Holland.
Don't you look at the history of the kits you build?
Well, I do, briefly, so I don't build one in like some out-of-the-way trainer aircraft or something like that, I don't want...
So, if you've done your history check on it, where was it?
Yeah, but then once I've checked it, I then forget about that information because I don't need it, right? As long as I've got a model that is there and I like it, it looks cool. I mean, sure, I could, get into the nuance of all the history of it, but,
That's half the fun.
But I'm spreading myself pretty thin as it is, There's a lot of things to get interested in. And I could only be interested in so many of them within a short span of time.
If you spread yourself any thinner, you'd be transparent.
I've got a new nickname for him.
What's that?
Goldfish.
Goldfish.
Yeah. Very short attention span.
Yep.
Oh, right. Short attention span.
Chris, what have you been up to since... I'm trying to think when we last had you on. What was the show where we had you on?
That was one where he spoke about his trip to...
Oh, was it that long ago, the trip to China?
There was another one after that.
I'm
We
sure
spoke
it was.
about displaying the models in display cabinets. And so
Oh,
forth.
that's
that's
right.
right.
Yeah. So what you been up to since then?
Okie doke. I've been doing a little bit of modelling. So I've been doing the 48 scale Tamiya F4U Corsair. That's with the wings folded and a little truck for the carrier.
Now, I'm intrigued about the wing folder. Did you have to glue them in place before you painted, or did you paint first and then stick the wings on afterwards?
Good question. The wings were separate, and because they were all sort of separate, it was a little bit more difficult. Ian's built the model with the wings together,
Yep.
and he says it's really designed for the wings to be folded. You got to build it as separate, all separate. The wings are sort of separate pieces.
Otherwise, you'd have
Paint it all.
too much of a hassle trying to paint it.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out, whether he, painted it with the wings. I mean, weathering in that, you'd have to do your weathering with the wings off still and then put
Correct.
them on last.
Yep.
It's a very interesting aircraft to build because most aircraft, like World War II,
Yep.
they're quite basic. You get a little bit of undercarriage and things like that, and you can sort of all paint it together and put it together. But because the Corsair of what it is, the type of design it is, there's a lot of covers for the wheels and so forth. So they're very tricky. The wings are all folded. Once you start putting it together, it's really, really tricky to work around it. So you've got to work it, make sure you do that. When you're putting it all together, put the undersides, finish all that properly, and then go to the top and then work around the kit that way.
Right.
And then you find out the glass glazing falls off at the bottom, and then you get turned upside down and go back again.
I actually had a look at the kit the other day when I popped around to your work, and it looks really, really good. Yeah, I'd be very impressed having that in my display cabinet.
Yeah, it's coming along quite nice. The markings, I started spraying them.
Yep.
The Montex masks, they're really nice. Had a problem with the Montex masks going around the fuselage, so I had to sand it all back again, repaint the original colour, and then put decals on that area.
Okay.
I'm glad I did that way because they do look a little bit better. I'm used to painting the markings on them.
Yeah.
But it's coming along quite nicely, yeah. It's for our club display, for the DSMC club display, coming at Expo very shortly.
3 months, yeah. Yeah, cool.
So it's for that. And it's coming along, yeah, as you've seen. It's quite nicely. I'm also building a couple of Japanese aircraft as well. So there's sort of quite a few projects going on at the one time.
Yeah, I've got a lot of Japanese aircraft to build.
How many exactly? And how many?
Let's see. There's 6 zeros and 27 vowels.
Oh, jeez.
That's a lot of vowels.
It is.
But I've got decals to do. Every single one will be different. So all the codes I've got for all 27 aircraft.
Have you got your North Star figures yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Nice.
I'm not expecting them straight away.
All right.
But I do know they've been ordered. So when they come in. But I've been painting all my other figures.
Yeah.
That's a fun job, painting 200 odd figures at 1/350 scale.
You'll learn a couple of things off Steve PO.
Oh, yeah. The worst thing is, right, when I did all those little AA guns, little triple mount AA guns,
Yep.
I've got them all. I painted them all up except for the barrels. I'll leave the barrels for last because I paint them with buffing paint. Then I went to put the figures on, and the figures all have their legs really close together. So it's moulded as one piece, which means the actual support bar for the little wheel and for the little bicycle pedal thing they use to rotate the AA gun,
Yep.
I'll have to rip them off every single one.
Oh, no.
And then cut them,
Oh.
take a chunk out of them, and then glue them back in place so they actually look like they're going in between their legs as they should be.
And didn't you have an accident when you were working on it on the weekend in your Chicago?
Yeah, because I'm working in a modelling room that's about the size of a shoe cupboard, which means manoeuvring a 2 foot, 2 and a bit foot aircraft carrier around is quite tricky. And I moving around and had it like on a 9-degree angle and went to grab it with the other hands so I could paint the other side, and must have just nicked the side of me inside of my leg, and the photo etch exhaust port, which took well over an hour to build to begin with, went ping flying off. I'm like, oh, okay. So put the kit down, put the airbrush back in its holder, and I had an idea where I thought it might have landed, so I've taken a step back, crunch. And all I'm thinking to myself is, I'm not spending another $110 on a photo etch sheet just to make that.
Yep.
So I'm going to try and resurrect it.
Yep.
Luckily, it folded on itself, it concertinaed on itself, so I might be able to straighten it out and repaint it and reattach it. If not, I'll just have to use the chunky kit one.
I found this recently when I lose something, it falls onto the carpet, and it's a small object.
But this isn't small. This wasn't small.
Yeah. But what I found, you know what I do? I get another, if I've got like a second one of that same moulding, I'll throw that on the carpet so I can see it. And what it does, this sounds really dumb, but what it does, for some reason, it then imprints that image. And I find it easier to find the one that's lost.
I found it.
I don't know how it works.
Don't worry, Dave. I found it straight away, mate.
could
It was
feel it go
under my
crunch.
foot. Flattened like a pancake.
Oh, I feel for you.
These things happen.
I'm surprised you made that. It seems like a kind of beginner move where you do that, or the classic, you drop it and you're in a chair and you roll the chair back and that one.
I think a few of us have probably done that to aircraft canopies.
So normally, no, not
Roll back on an aircraft
I'm always
canopy.
careful. I'm always careful about that one because it's like as soon as something drops on the floor, it's don't
Everything
move.
stops. The world stops.
Freeze. Like every spot you're going to move your foot to, you make sure you check that area before you put a foot down, and then you carefully maneuver out.
I hover. I get off my seat and hover.
Oh, do you?
Nothing gets broken.
Put on your little jetpack and off you go.
Oh, he doesn't need one. He's got enough hot air.
That's it. That too.
Well, my modelling has still come to a grinding halt, and I just haven't had time to do anything. I've been deployed last weekend, and this weekend it was Michelle's birthday, so it was just so many family visits and stuff. Nothing got done, so I'm really hanging just to get back in and do some work, and I've got to find some time.
Yep.
I get home overnight. I'm just too buggered after work, so I'm like you, and I think I prefer to do it on the weekend.
Yeah.
It annoys me to go and sit in there for like just half an hour. I just can't do it. I've got to sort of sit in there, get my music on, or get a nice podcast on. I've got to get in my zone. I can't just rock in and just go, I'll spend 5 minutes doing this and go out again. I can't do that.
It was really weird because it was a long weekend, and I had my alarm set for the long weekend.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for 7 o'clock.
And you're up.
I was up, had breakfast, bang.
Yeah.
Turn the computer on, quickly check my emails, chuck on some Motorhead, crank the volume up full blast to annoy the neighbours, and get stuck in.
7 a.m. You already got the head block.
already listening to the dulcet tones.
I'm sure they love being woken up to that.
Oh,
7 a.m. on a Sunday.
Who cares?
I thought you couldn't listen to Motorhead till after 12 o'clock.
All right, guys.
Oh, that's alcohol. Sorry.
Let's jump in now and have a look at what's news in the modelling world, shall we not? And first of all, we're going to have a look at Hobby Boss, and they've got 2 new attractive kits that are coming out for March. The first one is a 1/48 scale Russian Yak 28p fire bar. And
It looks like it comes out of the Thunderbirds.
interesting aircraft. It's got the sleek sort of swept back wings, all silver sort of outer, but the engines are in the 2 nacelles, one off each wing. It was designed as a 2-seater interceptor back in the 60s, and you like Russian iron, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yep.
Lovely.
Should build quite nice. Hobby Boss is a bit of an underrated company. I mean, they don't do they're not your wingnut wings level, but they do really good kits, I think.
I've actually been in contact with a couple of Hobby Boss kits lately. My son is now beginning to get into modelling.
Yay! How old is he?
Which is big news. He's 9 years old.
Oh, very good.
And the first kit he built was a Hobby Boss 72 scale P40
Yep.
N. And that's one of those easy build kits where it's got the fuselage. It's sort of almost one piece. It goes under the wings, very simple.
Oh, yeah.
We built that together. Like, he built it, I painted it. It was finished in 5 hours. It looks stunning. Really, really nice.
And
kit.
it's got the great 80th Fighter Squadron markings on the nose.
Yeah, the skull.
Big skull.
And
Burma Banshees.
just recently we went to a swap and sell, and we picked up a 48 scale Thunderbolt
Yep.
for $10. and it's also Hobby Boss. Now, compared to the Tamiya one, it's not as good
Yep.
in detail for really experienced modelers, but for a beginner, it's a perfect kit.
Yeah.
It's a really nice kit. It falls together,
Yep.
and it's quite accurate
Yep.
for what you need it for. And I've also got some other Hobby Boss kits which are a little bit more accurate, and they're a nice
Yeah,
brand.
I've
They really
built
are a nice
a couple of
brand.
Hobby Boss kits, and I quite like them.
Yeah, their little 1 to 350 scale U-boats are nice kits.
They're beautiful little kits, yeah.
I've built every one.
Also from Hobby Boss, they've announced a Soviet MBV-2, which is a Russian railroad tank thingy-bobby, whatever you want to call that.
Nice.
What's it? Armored.
It's armoured...
Armoured carriage,
Which
basically.
was
or has it got
really-
a motor in it?
no, I don't think it has a motor on it, no. And these things were just unique pretty much to the Russian front, weren't they?
Well, yeah, the Germans had them as well.
Yeah, and I just can't see the logic in them, because you know where they're going to go and where they're coming from. They're on the track, so it's not like a manoeuvre anywhere. But I guess mainly they were just there to drive off any, when the Germans case any sort of partisans, and also as anti-aircraft. But this Russian, the MBV-2, it's got a couple of turrets on it, so it looks like it's not just for anti-aircraft; it's for
Artillery purposes, I'd say.
Yeah, I guess that's so. So specifically, armoured trains were used in active combat, and these ones is actually one that survives and is based in the Kubinka
The
Kubinka Tank Museum.
Yes, that's where they got the only surviving Mouse.
Yes, that's
German
right.
super
Yeah.
heavy tank.
So this model, it shows three different painting variations, one in white snow, one in the Russian olive drab, and interesting one, Russian olive drab, with looks like brown stripes in it, which are just straight up and down stripes.
Like a pinstripe suit.
Yeah, which is
It's very
odd.
dapper.
It looks good.
It
I like
does look good. Yep.
Yeah.
Rightio, that's all I've got from, I think. Let me just have a quick look. It's just that showing the actual kit itself.
Oh, it comes with the rail as well.
Yeah, they all do.
Nice.
They'll come a little bed for the put the carriage on.
ICM have announced that they're doing a Lech Traktor Rheinmetall
Which means
1930
light tractor.
German tank in 1/35 scale. ICM's another great little company that is a sort of quiet achiever. Punches out things that they do your one, Ian, the
The Model T.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
They
also
do
built.
a range of Model Ts now.
I also built their JU80. Oh, partially built their JU88. It could use a bit more finesse.
This is saying it's 100% new molds, and
Well, I don't think we've ever seen one of those tanks out in that scale anyway.
no. And
I've never seen one of those tanks.
this tank was actually designed and built during in contravention of the Versailles Treaty, which Germany weren't allowed to actually have tanks.
Was it a
so-
two-seater? Looks small enough to be a two-seater.
I think it'd be a 3. There's two different vehicles that were designed and based on the same chassis, and it's just an interesting little something.
Actually, for a small tank, it actually looks pretty cool.
Something different, and something different that's German. That's not your normal sort of Panzer shape. I don't know how many of these were actually made.
It's got an auger on the side.
It looks like on the side there. I'm struggling to see that picture there. and some of you
Probably
with better
more.
eyes.
It's probably an exhaust of some kind.
Yeah, it looks like an auger.
The motor's mounted in the front, so the crew compartment is behind the
It's a
motor,
muffler.
and that'd be
It's a
your muffler
weird
coming out.
corkscrew style muffler.
Interestingly, for a small tank of that time, the primary weapon was a 37mm, which for early 1930s is, I think, is quite interesting. Crew of 3 is definitely a light tank with a weight of 7 tons to 8 tons, and secondary weapon was a 7.92mm machine gun.
Yep,
So
regular size.
that's going to build a really interesting kit, and the CAD pictures look really, really awesome.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't come with those rubber tracks.
It kind of looks like it does,
It
doesn't it?
does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
Oh dear.
We will just have to wait and see. Right. Hasegawa, continuing on with their folk stuff.
Oh, yeah. That folk's been out for years.
Yeah, I think they're redoing it though. Not redoing it, but re-releasing it.
Yeah,
So
with shark's teeth markings.
it is the anti-gravity armor fighter PKF.85
Yep.
Folk in 1/20th scale.
Yes.
This is definitely a re-release, and
It's one of the really cool SF 3D kits, I reckon. One
it's
of the
nice.
newer ones out, and it just looks pretty good. I've seen
And-
a few built, and they because with those things you can paint them up any way you want. They look great.
Exactly right. They're saying here that it's going to come with 4 different kinds of markings are going to be scheduled for the release of this particular one,
Yep.
which will be coming out in March, actually.
Cool.
Next up from Hasegawa, they're doing the Rosenbauer Panther 6x6 chemical fire engine, which is used at airports. This is a very impressive machine, and for those of you who enjoy building your firefighting equipment, you're going to get a real kick out of this.
And for those guys who like science fiction vehicles, geez, you could scratch build that up into some really cool moon vehicle. Especially the style of that cab.
I think the two main manufacturers who've got the market in large airport-based firefighting equipment is Rosenbauer and also Oshkosh Trucks.
Yep.
They're the two big ones. So this is a 1/72 scale kit. It's going to be coming... Oh, it looks actually gorgeous. It comes in a number of different plastic colours for the sprues. So the sprues come in red and a grey. Interior details not too bad for the scale. And comes with rubber wheels. And it's just going to build up to be a lovely little kit. Its decal choice is going to be for the ground self-defense garrison at Kizaru.
In Japan, yep.
Yep, or the air self-defense force at Chishkishu base.
Tsukiji.
Tsukishi.
Yep.
You're better
Both
at your
Japan.
pronunciation than me, yeah.
Although one thing I've noticed that in their sort of finished sort of production shots, the clear of the glass looks it looks very clear, right? It doesn't really resemble the art style of the box art.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder that like if you knew what the real vehicle looked like, maybe tint the windows.
No, the windows are actually clear in real life.
Are they?
Yeah, 100% clear.
Have you seen them up close?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yep, awesome.
Are they cool?
There are many Oshkoshes there. Yeah, oh, absolutely. And the speed, they can go from, for such a large vehicle, they can go from 0 to 80 in, just like that pretty much.
Yep.
Which they have to do to sort of get out and fight
Especially
fires
an
in
airport.
aircraft.
Yeah.
Now there's no point getting there when the fire's already put itself out.
Exactly.
Oh, gee. Ian, this one appealed to you. It's a 1966 American Coupe Type 1
Yep, Chev Coupe.
in 1/24 scale, and it comes with a blonde girl figure in scantily dressed with her legs crossed reclining on the bonnet.
Cool.
I suppose
I was going to think the same.
Nice.
I suppose it doesn't have to be. I mean, they say with blonde girl figure, but you don't have to keep her blonde, do you? You could paint her any
You
colour
can paint
you
her any
want.
colour you want. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. All right. For that matter, you can paint the car any colour as well. For me, the red.
Oh,
or
no, you
the
got to keep them to the correct colours.
Oh yeah, you got. You're
The
talking to
figure
Ian.
actually looks quite good.
Yeah.
Actually, the figure looks quite detailed, I've got to say.
Mm.
So, so for you car guys out there,
Especially you muscle car guys.
you're going to be really interested in this. And the model car looks very, very nice. It's going to be
Nice wire wheels.
and the figure's actually resin, so that's interesting as well.
That's why it looks so good.
That's why it looks so highly detailed. Yes.
There we go.
Very nice job.
An
Yes, we
F-104 Starfighter, and my computer's just gone nuts. F-104 Starfighter, it's the G/DJ type Taiwanese
Twin
Air Force.
seat. Yep.
I've got an idea we sort of touched on this 148 scale one a few
It's just a
weeks ago.
Reeboks with different markings.
Yeah. So for those of you who love your Starfighters, I'm sure you're going to find it a very attractive kit to purchase.
You're a big fan of Starfighters, aren't you?
Yeah, I like Starfighters. They were pretty awesome vehicle.
Oh, they're okay. Yeah. They look good, but, geez, a lot of Air Forces had a lot of trouble with them.
Oh, yeah, the Germans did.
Oh, the Germans in particular did, yeah, absolutely.
Kept crashing them.
I think they had a phenomenal rate of deaths
Yep.
flying them.
Yep.
But then again, it comes from the type of missions that we're training in as well. So
Yeah.
interesting. I think the Italian Air Force still used them right up until the late 70s, early 80s, I
Wouldn't
think.
surprise me.
Yeah. All right. A F4 for those of you who love your Phantoms in 1/72nd scale. Hasegawa are doing a F4 EJ Super Phantom, which is a re-release, but the decals in it are going to be for 32 Squadron, which is the
302 Squadron.
what did I say? 32.
32, yeah.
There's a 0 in there.
There is, Dave.
I got to say, these decals look absolutely gorgeous. So this must be decals to represent the squadron's last flight of the Phantom,
Yep.
or the final year of the
Final
Phantom.
year of the Phantom.
Yeah. And the decals in it, it's got all black with red leaves sort of floating along the side.
And it's got the little Phantom dude that Hasegawa made famous on the wings.
Oh, yeah.
The fabulous
that's
Phantom little guy. Used to get when you bought your Phantom egg plane.
So this will really appeal to those of you who enjoy building Phantoms, indeed. Even have it on in your
It
stash.
looks like it's got a bird's beak on it.
It does. It has bird's eye and beak on it as well, where
Cool.
the at the front there. So gorgeous colour. What that'd be one big decal sheet at 130 or 172
Yeah,
scale.
big decal sheets scare me.
Yeah,
Really do.
interesting. And we have yet another egg plane. This is in 1/24th scale, and it is the egg plane of the VF1J Valkyrie, and it comes with Lin Minimi, which is
Minimi.
China dress, which is a little figurine dressed in a
Traditional Chinese garb.
yeah. Next up, we have from Mini Art a redo of their successful ball tanks. This time, what they've decided to do is do it in the winter time and just wax skis on the side of it and resell. Great way of selling a successful product, I guess.
It's the ball of death.
The ball of death, indeed. Look, great little kits. I've seen a guy actually open one of these up and do the interior. And the interior is quite detailed. That comes with the kit itself. And he put a little LED inside, which just illuminated it quite nicely because there's not much light getting in there. And yeah, look great. Comes with a couple of interesting little decal sheets. One's of a snowman with boxing gloves on, with 4 tank kills painted on the side. So
I like the one with the bear.
you get the Russian star with a Russian bear.
Yep.
Yeah.
All it needs is a Putin writing.
Also, there's also markings which have little Viking boats at the top.
I think they're for the German version.
Yes, that's right. 'Cause you can do it in the Russia or German version. Yeah. So that looks really cool.
Oh, you'd have to paint it red, wouldn't you?
But the whole thing.
I reckon it'd look better in
What,
red.
on skis in wintertime.
It doesn't matter. It could be the parade version, you know.
But they weren't red in real life.
I mean, in fact, when you think about it, that's how it would actually work. Because the thing doesn't actually function. It'd only be useful as a propaganda tool, right?
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
I think we'll leave that alone. And we'll go on now to Italeri, which have announced 6 new kits for April. The first one is the Audi Quattro rally car in 1/24th scale. This particular Audi came out in the 80s. And it's interesting that Italeri and Hasegawa are both doing rally cars in the same month. So I think we have to get somebody on to talk about cars because we haven't had anybody to really talk about cars or building
Do
trucks.
we
or
know
anything.
anyone?
I don't know. Do we?
I love cars. I just don't build many model kits of cars.
See, I wouldn't build a model kit. I'd buy a die-cast one.
No.
can get-
What's the fun of that?
Well, I just want to look at it. I don't want to build it.
Building's half the fun.
No. Yeah, it is, but yeah, I don't know. Building cars doesn't inspire me.
You've also got like availability to contend with, you know, because there's a lot of cars out there, and there's not kits of everything.
And I'll tell you what,
But you'd be surprised how much aftermarket stuff's out there for car modelers.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
There is a lot of stuff. I bought like square base aerials and tyre valves.
But the detail that you get in the die-cast cars now is just incredible.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind.
Yeah, but they're not models.
Yes, they are.
Well, you didn't build it.
No, but it's still a model, though, is it not?
Not really. Would you call a Matchbox car a model?
A match? Yes.
You would.
Because it's a representation of the real thing. It's a model of it.
I get where you were going with that, but it kind of works against you because Matchbox also made models.
Yeah, true. Matchbox Leslie, yes.
That Audi Quattro, that's really nice. I'd like to see the street racing version of the Audi Quattro.
Oh, okay.
The Americans had them, or they raced them in America.
Yeah.
In the Trans Am series, and very successful, and they look really hot. They really do.
Yeah, but it's a European car.
Let it go in.
Let it go in.
In 1/72 scale, there's an SM.81 BAT, which is the...
Italian version of a Tunta U.
Yeah, it looks exactly the same, doesn't it?
It looks pretty close to a JU-52.
These were actually used as bombers during the Spanish Civil War, which I've never actually come across this aircraft before, so I'm quite intrigued by it.
Nice. It's really nice.
Italian tri-motor.
Built in the mid-30s with the Italian Air Force. It worked in the during the Ethiopian campaign, and of course in the Spanish Civil War, and saw service in the Second World War.
I don't even know how the heck they called that a campaign. The Ethiopian, they're a mechanised military, the Italians at that stage. What were the Ethiopians? They were medieval.
Wow.
They had swords, pikes, and they were going up against Italians in armour and machine guns.
Yeah, they
never stood
horses.
a chance. Never stood a chance, those poor Ethiopians.
And I believe the Italians, didn't they use gas as well?
I think they may have, yes.
I didn't know that. Oh.
But that's a lovely looking aircraft.
It
That'd
is.
look really nice, well built. Yeah,
It
lovely.
is.
Lovely. There's quite a few nice schemes.
What scale
in
is
too.
it? 72.
72.
Yep.
What really distinguishes it from the Junkers is that it hasn't got that corrugated sort of iron look to it. It's all sort of straight metal or aluminium, I should say, that's been used. Suggested colour instructions, colour call-outs. It comes with decals for 5 versions, and it's a very colourful aircraft. And geez, you'd really have a lot of fun with your airbrush. You have to get right down and do all those squiggly lines and those what do you call it? No, it's not a disruptive pattern. It's a
Mottle.
Yeah, the mottle colour.
Well, some of them are probably very intimidating schemes, actually. I mean, I imagine you'd be fixing up and refixing up a lot of spots and areas repeatedly.
That'd look lovely in 48 scale. A spectacular kit.
Absolutely. It would. In 1/72 scale, they have announced the M12 gun tractor carriage, which is a howitzer,
mobile artillery
155 millimeter, which is just whacked on top of a.
That's a Sherman,
Sherman chassis. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, very early form of self-propelled artillery, and the Americans had very good artillery in World War II.
Yes, they did.
Very good artillery.
I really like this thing. I just wish it was in 35th scale.
Until they got to Vietnam, where the Russians had better artillery. They got outgunned.
By whom?
By
By
North Vietnamese.
North Vietnamese using Russian guns.
Oh, that's interesting.
So did the French, unfortunately.
Well, the French are in trouble because they had their base at the bottom of a valley, which allowed the
around the VC to surround them and pound the heck out of them.
Yeah.
But that's a nice looking unit, that one.
It is a very nice looking kit. Just wondering if it would have been used in the Second World War. Yeah, it was. And I wonder if it was sort of hanging around for the Korean War as well.
There we go. It's actually a Grant or a Lee chassis. And they actually used the artillery piece was from French origin.
Okay.
There we go.
Very interesting.
It's a lobber. That's the one.
That's a lobber, yes. Just lob the shells over.
The tracks are Lincoln Length, which is appeal to some of you out there.
Lovely.
And yeah, all in all, should make a beautiful little kit to add to your collection. Mercedes-Benz 2238 6x4 truck in 1/24 scale. Model length 28 centimetres, about €51. For the truck people out there, I think you'll really enjoy it. I don't know much about trucks. I really can't say anymore. It comes with rubber wheels and quite a detailed interior too, by the looks of it.
And if you want to hook up a trailer up to it, you have to buy one separately.
Correct.
In 1/35th scale, an RSO/03 with a Pack 40.
Now, that's my kind of truck.
I got no idea what it is. It's a German Caterpillar tractor.
Well,
which
Chris has actually built an old Italeri RSO.
Yes, yes.
With the rounded cab, not the square cab like this one's got.
So this was just purely designed to
Just a transport vehicle.
and to tow artillery.
Yep.
They were designed for the Eastern Front.
Yep.
And they were successful. Yeah, they were a great little vehicle. Yeah.
Unfortunately, not enough of them built to sort of truly sort of motorise the German army, which was quite heavily dependent on horses,
Correct.
even into Russia, which strikes me as quite odd, but that's the way it was.
Oh, they just followed Napoleon's lead.
The tracks are vinyl tracks.
Yeah, can you just scroll back up again?
Certainly can. What are you looking for
I'm
there?
just wondering if it's because it's Italeri. Now, what scale is this again?
No, it
1/72nd.
even comes with
72nd.
Even
right,
comes with
right.
a little Pack 40.
Nice.
Well, that's good value for money, isn't it?
Hey. So 2 little kits in one.
Gee, some of those bits would be pretty fragile, wouldn't they?
I'm not keen
Yeah.
about those tracks though, especially in 72 scale. Like in any scale, but
Yeah.
72 scale,
Vinyl,
yeah, vinyl.
Next one's an exciting announcement. It's the B58 Hustler in 1/72nd scale.
Nice.
Now, I'm pretty sure this will be a re-release. The question is it have they touched up the mouldings or not? Because I know there were some issues with the ones that they did in earlier on. But this is a hot-looking ship. In 1/72nd scale, it's going to be a perfect size. And I just love the Hustler. I reckon it looks gorgeous. It looks really super fast, just sitting still. And
So when are you going to get one in Dave's scale?
well, it's interesting you say that because later on I want to have a chat about one of my favourite sort of aircraft, and I'll get to that. But if there was one available in 1/144th scale, which perhaps there is, I'd even be tempted to buy this in 1/72nd scale. Very tempted.
There we go.
Ooh. These jumping scales,
You,
listeners.
you better get your Alclad ready.
Jumping scales.
Quite a few markings there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all silver though.
And you just got to love some of the flashes that they had in the side of the aircraft that SAC had on their aircraft. They really just look good. Very impressive.
Yep.
You know, you could use the chrome pens on the whole thing.
No, I don't think so.
Actually, I used my chrome pen in anger.
In anger.
Yeah,
I've used
over
my
the
chrome
weekend.
pen too, yeah.
Yeah, had
For a
to-
searchlight.
Yeah, exactly. Had two little searchlights on
Yeah.
the bridge and a couple little dobs, and it just come out like
magic.
bang,
Yep.
chrome. It's like, oh, there's me searchlight done.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I've used Julian's chrome pen.
Yeah.
Come up really nice.
Yeah, got to say those Molotov chrome pens are well worth the money.
The only other new thing I've got to announce is that you can actually purchase a On the Bench t-shirt now if you go to https://shop.spreadshirt.com.au/on the bench, and that'll take you to our little shop where you can buy a range of hoodies, t-shirts, and long sleeve t-shirts with the On the Bench logo on there. And as time goes on, we're going to have different logos on there, or not logos, but sayings and stuff as well. So there'll be different ranges released.
Oh, sayings. So we can have like some of our famous sayings,
Well,
like
yeah.
moose detectors.
Dave scale.
Sorry, Tony Jacob. I didn't mean to make you nearly destroy your beautiful P51.
And we can have things like I'm a rivet candle, so what, and stuff like that. We'll think of a couple of things, and
Only muscle cars count.
So if you get some suggestions at what you'd like to see in a T-shirt, by all means, just send them into our email. And our email address is onthebench64@gmail.com.
Yeah. One thing I saw online, apparently there's a new sci-fi movie coming out from China. I think it's called Wandering Earth. And I can't remember which kit manufacturer, but they're doing a 1:100 scale, one of these super trucks from it.
Oh, cool.
And it's like this massive truck. Basically, think about like a 5-story building that's laid on its side. It's that big. And it's coming out 1:100 scale.
Now, the Wandering Earth science fiction show, the movie, it's about the Earth sort of being used as a spaceship or something, or
I think it moves out of orbit or
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, meant to be one very, very good movie that's coming out. That one.
Speaking of movies, the Midway remake, Woody Harrelson has been cast for Halsley.
Yes.
So
I just hope Roland Emmerich doesn't wreck it.
Got trepidations about how that movie's going to turn out.
Yeah, well, he has said that he's going to try and keep it as accurate as possible.
Yeah, but his version of Hollywood's version of accurate and our version of accurate.
That's true. And you got to think, I think this space is probably the first war movie he's ever done. Because what has he done? He's done Stargate. He's done, was it Alien Invasion, Independence Day, and he did do The Patriot. That was semi-war movie.
Yeah,
American War of Independence.
Well, I'll just reserve judgment for when it comes out.
When it comes out, yeah.
As long as it's not the movie that shall not be named. As long as it's not like the movie that shall not be named. We'll see.
No green zeros, please.
All right, let's take a break and we'll be back very shortly. And we're back to talk about absolutely nothing except models, really. We haven't really got a subject this time around, but Chris is in nonetheless, and we're just going to talk about whatever sort of grabs our fancy.
It's a freestyle episode.
I thought I'd kick off, actually, with one of my favourite aircraft.
Oh, do tell.
The B-52.
Okay.
The Buff.
I love it. I really do. And here's something I was sort of doing when I was doing a bit of research, and this blows my mind. So it came into service in 1961, right? Its planned service life is going to be till 2030. So that's 69 years of operational life.
Wow.
That's like the Wright Flyer still being in service up until 1972. Or it's like P-51 still being in frontline service until 2011. Or an ME-262 still operating up until 2014, or an F-86 Sabre still in service up until 2018.
Wow.
How's that for money? Now, fair enough, they've replaced the wings, and they're now going ahead and going to do some engines for it as well, put new engines in it. But, geez, I tell you what, the US taxpayer has really got their bang for their buck out of the B-52.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it's just still such an awesome... I mean, people have lived and died that have serviced and flown that thing since, and and you got young guys sort of piling at it now. And it just blows my mind that something like even the US Navy's aircraft carriers have only got a lifespan of 50 years, and this aircraft is going to have a lifespan of 69 years. It's just stunning.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
And it was the last sort of bomber that during the Vietnam War had big carpet bombing raids like you used to have, linebacker raids like you used to have back in World War II, and it's just...
Arclight.
Yeah, Arclight and all that. It was just, I don't know, something about it. Mm. And my trouble is, though, because I've banned myself from buying kits, I can't buy a kit this year.
Well, you banned yourself from buying kits?
You remember I said I'm not buying a new kit this year?
That'll stop.
However, Mini Art have a beautiful 1/44th scale version of the B-52, which... Oh, my finger was hovering over the mouse button today. I was looking at it going,
Well, I've got to wait till May for my next major purchase.
Yeah. What are you buying in May?
The 24 scale Hellcat from Airfix.
Oh, I forgot to mention in what's new is that Pacific Crossroads are going to be doing the Bathurst class Corvette.
Correct.
And that'll be coming out next year. They're doing a Dutch version and a Aussie version.
Yes.
Australia built about 60 of them
There was a
during
lot.
World War II.
Yep. A lot were built.
And
A
one-
lot of them were very different to each other too.
And one actually ended up in the Communist Navy of China.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How's
We
that?
sell it to them, did we?
I don't know how it got there, but it ended up there anyway. I remember reading it somewhere.
They scrapped it off the ocean floor.
Interestingly, we actually have a museum ship of Bathurst class, HMAS Castlemaine, which is over
Correct, in
in
Queensland.
Williamstown.
Oh, Williamstown, Castlemaine.
Yep.
Yes.
And there is the old HMAS Walhalla, which is actually in Walhalla, which is landlocked. So they shipped the entire corvette inland, and it sits at the township of Walhalla in South Australia.
That's like Holbrook.
Yeah,
in
but
New
it's not.
South Wales, they've got a Oberon class submarine out in the middle of the Australian, right inland in Australia. Is this big black Oberon class submarine?
That's true.
Which is quite interesting. Because what is it? Starling Models is bringing out HMAS Yarra.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, that's why originally Pacific Crossroads we were going to do that, but then
The HMAS Yarra, that's a sloop, wasn't it?
that was a sloop. That was,
Yeah.
I think Grimsby class.
Yeah,
if my
I
memory
think it might
serves
have
me
been.
correctly.
Yep.
But that's a very famous ship.
It is because it had Teddy Sheen on it.
Correct.
Who-
Yes, who was still firing the Olicon from the bridge as the ship was going underwater.
Yep, that's right.
Fighting off the Japanese.
Yep. And you know what? It's I just read today there's going to be another attempt to get him a Victoria Cross post.
About time.
Yeah. So they're having another look at a review
Yeah.
that
That's good
because
to hear.
no Australian Navy person has ever won a Victoria Cross.
Oh, really?
Yep.
It's all been Air Force and Army.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Pretty much.
interesting. Didn't realise that.
There you go. A bit of trivia for you.
While you're mentioning sort of kids that you forgot to mention in What's New,
Yep.
so Ed Russell, who we've had on the podcast once upon a time.
Yeah, we had him at the last
Expo.
show.
Yep.
Expo, yeah.
So he passed along a very interesting video to me from a company called Clear Prop Models. And it was basically like a CAD animation of how their new kit goes together. And the new kit's in the A5M Claude, early Japanese plane.
Yep.
And it's the most diabolical model I've ever seen.
Oh, seriously?
Really?
Yeah, well, it's a 72nd scale model.
Oh, so it's gonna be small to begin with.
Well, it's a very small plane to begin
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
Right? And like the number of parts is just it's just crazy. It's individual cylinder heads
Oh,
for the
wow.
motor.
In
On a
1/72nd scale.
Yeah, and that it just goes down. It just downhill. It just gets crazy from there. It's really like before it's even closed up the fuselage. You've got like 15 bits of photo etch in there.
Great.
And I'm not talking like Eduard style, panels and color photo etch. No, it's just regular photo etch as far as I can tell.
There you got to paint yourself.
Yeah, just little brackets and things like that.
And you got to bend as well. You got to bend and paint.
It's all
Yeah.
part of the fun.
Yeah, exactly right. That's what the problem is.
Well,
Remember, listeners, photo etch is your friend.
well, the thing is, I won't make an assumption like all 72nd scale models are like this or that, but I think that there are a lot of 72nd scale modelers who are prepared to forego certain levels of accuracy in exchange for having a smaller model that they can fit in the cabin.
Accuracy or detail?
Right? Sorry, detail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a really absurd level of detail.
But
what
you
you
can
want.
get a lot of detail down to, like 1/350 scale ships.
Yes, that's true.
1/4
But ship
54th
modelers
scale.
know what they're signing up for, right?
Yeah.
Like that's generally like like that sort of part of the shipbuilding culture. It's across the board there, right? A lot of 72nd scale modelers will be happily build like an old Matchbox kit, and they're pretty sort of they're not
Basic.
they're basic. They're not the kind of thing that I would build.
Yeah.
Right.
Trenches for panel lines.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've got this 72nd scale Focke-Wulf from Eduard, and that's probably beyond a level of detail that's beyond most 72nd scale models would be willing to go for. I think it's a bit too complicated. It's basically as complicated as their 48 scale. It's just downsized.
Yeah, right there. There's not many 72 scale modelers out there that do enormous amount of detail on their kits.
And this is really going above and beyond.
Yeah.
I mean,
the thing is too, sometimes with some of these kits when they're really detailed and get them out of the box, you can just omit that part. Just don't put it in.
Yeah, but when it's like that by design, like the basic kit is already extremely complicated.
Indeed. Yeah.
You can't sort of back off and go, I'll just cop out and go with the simpler version of it,
Just paint the inside of the canopy black.
Yeah.
Well, as you say, getting your money's worth out of the kit, though, aren't you? Because you're going to be spending a lot of time on it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much it'll go for. I mean, sometimes like we've had companies lately that have produced some models that go for some pretty expensive, demanding some pretty high numbers.
Yeah.
It's interesting you talk about price because I was down at our local hobby store, Metro Hobbies, down at Box Hill. Great store, really good store. And I was looking more at the 72 scale stuff because I've used to build 72 scale. And now I'm sort of more 48.
I used to build 176 scale back in the day.
Anyway, I was looking at the prices of the 72 scale because I'm looking at kits for my son. And it was interesting because he picked up a Mustang, 72 scale Mustang, and it was almost the same price as a 48 scale Mustang of the same brand, Tamiya. Only a few more, like $5 or $6 extra. And you go to the 48 scale. So it was interesting. My perception of the prices of 72 scale was actually quite high for what you get. And when you go to the next scale up, 48, the price is value for money. However, looking at the stock they had there, they had a lot of the mid-range Tamiya 48 scale aircraft, and there's some of their early stuff like K84 and so forth, and their prices were actually very, very good and competitive and value for money. But when it went to the more recent releases like the new 48 scale Zero, that was a much higher price. So that jumps in that sort of sense.
With your Mustang price comparison of only $4 or $5 or whatever it is, I think I have an idea as to why that might be, because when you're talking because you're just talking about the two Tamiya kits, right?
I was comparing apples and apples with Tamiya.
Yep. But what I think is the case is when the 48 scale Mustang from Tamiya is a really well-known kit, and I imagine that has sold more than many kits out there on the market, right?
Got a good point here. Yep.
Right? So obviously the price has come down because they've had it out there for so long and it's everywhere, right? On the other hand, a Tamiya 72nd scale Mustang would be like an above, like a higher quality tier Mustang than most. Because imagine, like, because obviously the 72nd scale market is fairly saturated. You can get a Mustang from any manufacturer in 72nd scale. So it comes down to what's your brand preference more than it is who's got the best one.
Yeah, apparently the new G6 in 72nd scale is a pretty phenomenal kit as well. I've seen a build-up of that by Brett Green, and that's an amazing kit for 72 scale. The detail in it is just amazing.
G6? What's
Messerschmitt 109 G6.
The good stuff.
Yeah, in 72nd scale, yeah. Brand new Tamiya.
Yeah, because that'd be a downscale of the recent 48 scale one.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that'd be good,
That'd
wouldn't
be
it?
very good, yes. Another one I noticed new coming out, this is actually not a model kit, a book. AK had started doing a series for ships. I've got I think I've got their one on the New Orleans class cruises, I think it was. And they've now got a book coming out on the building the Tirpitz and Bismarck. And they're very nice books, actually. They've got a few really nice builds in there and give you some ideas. And
they do make really nice books.
Yeah.
I've bought one. They get expensive, though.
Yeah. Well, what publication isn't cheap these days?
If you were the kind of person who maybe doesn't have the internet in your modelling area, there can be pretty good resources to have on hand.
Yep. Yeah, I just like buying the books. There's something tactile about actually having the book than
There is.
rather looking at over a screen.
Although with a screen, because you can get it on, I get my modelling magazines on my iPad, and you can really just zoom right in and get really super close to the photo.
Yep.
You can really, bring it right in, magnify it quite significantly, and you don't lose the clarity because they use such, high quality photographs now.
Yep.
So they're good from that. It's good from that perspective. But I'm like you. I prefer books and magazines, unlike the young'uns in the room.
Yeah. Take up space, man.
Take up space.
Yeah, they do. Because
just wait till someone drops an EPM, you're all stuffed.
Yeah, but how many people have walked into our model club and gone, here's a big stack of magazines, I don't want them anymore, and it weighs like a metric ton.
Yeah, that's why in our club we have a dedicated librarian.
The librarian, yeah. His job used to be to cut all that stuff back and forward.
And we gave the job to the smallest guy in the club.
Yes, the librarian. We'll just call him Ook.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's good. That's good, mate.
You can only buy magazines for so long before you've got so many of them. You don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've got a heap of magazines if you want them. So
No, I'm good.
yeah, all the old white dwarfs from 10 years ago. I forgot I had them. I thought I got rid of them, and I looked through some cupboards. I was looking for a hand drill, and a big pile of magazines from about 10, 15 years ago. Oh, what are these doing?
And was the first thought was, I could get rid of those and replace them with more models.
No, just make more. Yeah, actually, make room to put more kits in. Yeah, because that's my problem at the moment is where I'm storing all my unbuilt kits.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a cupboard space anywhere. I'm starting to store them in my bedroom now. Running out of room. Especially these bigger boxes, like when you get the big, like the Wingnut Wings Felix Day. That's a darn big box.
Well, I don't think the Airfix Hellcat's going to be a small
That's
box
a big
either.
box. Well,
Yeah.
another big box is the Bronco 135th scale U-boat.
Hey,
That's a big box. That's a big kit too in 35th scale.
folks, he's complaining about the size of the box, let alone once he's built them where he's going to put them.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, that's the problem with my current build. At the moment, it's the only place to store it is on the bookshelf in my lounge room. So I've got this half-built kit sitting there.
You need a cabinet for it.
Oh, I need a bigger place.
Oh, don't you have like a ceiling space up there?
Oh, there's no insulation, mate. It'll melt in summer.
Yeah.
We'll end up with these big puddles of plastic.
Oh no, you can.
At least it'll insulate your house.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah, the molten plastic will just help keep the heat in.
It'd be interesting to know if the ceiling cavity space is cooler than in your actual.
No, it's not. I'll poke my head up there in summer. It's a lot hotter. That's where all the heat's coming from. From that ceiling space. It just it's like sometimes it's like I wonder if I'm like living on top of a thermal vent.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can always pretend that you're one of them. What are they? The villains from like a James Bond movie where his base is inside a volcano or something.
Yeah, yes. I just call my place the kiln.
So you guys went to a swap and sell last weekend, did you?
I didn't.
No, did you?
Too hot.
I did.
You did? Yep.
Too hot and too many smelly people.
I went with my son, and we bought quite a few kits, and for a new beginner modeler, there's quite a few 72 scale aircraft there.
Great value swap and sells.
Yeah. I walked away with a Spitfire Edward 48 scale Spitfire Mark 22-24, which is the current Airfix kit, being updated with the Edward photo etch and resin and decals. So can't wait to build that. That'd be a nice kit.
Have you decided what camouflage you're going to do it in?
Well, Ian was suggesting the silver. I actually prefer the camouflage in this particular one.
Which camouflage? Desert or the European?
The one that's based in Asia.
Oh, okay. Southeast Asian camouflage.
Hong Kong. These were based in Hong Kong when the...
It would have been after the war, though.
Yes, after the war.
Because
they were based
otherwise they wouldn't have the red dot in the middle of the roundel.
Yep. They're based in Hong Kong when Red China was just starting to form, so they were a little bit concerned about the Chinese sort of coming across into Hong Kong at that stage, so they were protecting that area.
Mark 22 would have to be one of the most beautiful looking Spitfires out of all of them, I think.
They are nice. Yeah, I like the later versions of most aircraft. So yeah, that does appeal to me. Like I like the Spitfire range is always a pleasing sort of looking style. The Mark 1s are very nice. They go to the Mark 5s, lovely. Then you go right up to the later ones. So yeah, they are just a good looking aircraft.
I actually prefer the early versions of a lot of aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually just realised.
No,
You know,
I'm the opposite. Like the early P-51 with the birdcage.
Yeah. The Razorback as well. Yeah, on it.
Yeah, I reckon it's terrible. Looks
I
horrible.
love it. I
you?
like that.
Nah.
Yeah, because when I see
Nah.
when I see a Mustang in natural metal and all these bright colours and stuff on it, I kind of think of that's the plane when it's off duty in civilian clothing. You know, it's got its own clothes on.
It's ready for party.
Yeah. Whereas a Mustang in olive drab is in uniform. That's how I kind of think of it.
In uniform,
It's
eh?
9 to 5.
Yeah, 9 to 5. It's ready for duty. You know, it's so I do like also. I just like the shape of it in general. Also,
Yeah.
right. I like my Lightnings to be Fs, the early ones with the smoother, more streamlined nacelles. I like my P-47s with the Razorback as well. Also in olive drab, of course. Yeah. What else?
Messerschmitt.
Yeah, I do like the early Messerschmitts actually. I prefer the E's.
The Emils.
Yep.
Yeah, because they kind of look more sort of typically Germanic. You know, they're a bit squarey shaped and all that sort of thing.
Mhm.
They don't have a sense of humour.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. And yeah, like a plane that looks like it's
You will do what we say.
It's inspired by a hammer rather than a.
And the Focke-Wulf, you like the early ones there because you don't like the TAs.
Actually, no, I do like the TAs. I do like the TAs. That's the one that breaks the mold. Yeah.
Oh, really?
The H's or the C's?
Oh no, just the V12 powered Focke-Wulfs.
Right.
In
Okay.
general, yeah.
Okay. The D9s.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
D9s, D13s.
What about the Ts with the large wings?
Oh, the 109T.
I don't mind them. They're okay. I don't have much of an opinion on that. When it comes to Spitfires, I prefer Mark 5s and Mark 9s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the super late ones like that one, and I don't like the super early ones either.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the middle ground.
I like the Mark 1s and 2s. Nice
Oh, look, I do too, but there's just something about the late model Spitfires that I don't know.
Oh, look, honestly, the Mark 5s, especially when they got the tropical air filter at the front, that big air scoop at the
It's a
front.
cool look.
Yeah, that's just a mean look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Australian markings, yeah, they just really tops them off.
It kind of reminds me, like, this is the way my mind worked as a kid. Is like the tropical.
What do you
air.
mean? What do you mean when you're a kid? This is the way it still works.
Oh, come on! Oh, come on! Take it easy. Settle down. The long scoop from the tropical air filter. It kind of reminds me of a bit like it's taken on a little bit of the Typhoon, with a big mouth underneath.
Yep.
There's a bit of that. Mm.
Yep, no, I know what you mean.
I mean, it also goes straight on with the colours, like desert skin.
There's one aircraft I reckon that looks really silly with tropical air filters.
What's that?
The Focke-Wulf 190s, the A models.
Oh, because they got the pipe on down the side of it.
No, they got those little pods that go on the outside of the nacelles.
Yeah.
You know where you got your normal lumps
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
side of the nacelles? Well, they got these pods with these air filters that hang off them.
They look cool.
That looks silly.
They do.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it actually. Is it symmetrical though? Is it on both sides?
Yeah,
It's
both
on
sides.
both sides.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Yeah.
with the 109s, they just had on the left-hand
Yeah,
side.
exactly
Was it
on
the
the-
left-hand side, I
yeah.
think it was. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
But yeah, speaking of late model aircraft, one aircraft I reckon that looks really sexy and late is the Goodyear Corsairs,
Yeah. Mm.
especially ones with the big corn cob radial engines on them.
Yep.
Those
I
things are
really
just
like those.
monsters.
Yeah.
Those things were monsters.
Changing it around just a little bit. I also prefer early Shermans, right, with the cast upper hull.
Yeah, rather than the welded hull.
Yeah, I like that look.
The
I mean,
rounded look.
everyone knows the welded hull, which is all like angle 45-degree angles or whatever it is on it. I don't know what. I'm sure like someone like Robert would be able to tell me exactly what the angles are, because they changed the angle later. Mm-hmm. The very late Shermans that have the steeper angle, I think it is. Yeah, looks a bit weird.
Yeah, so they didn't get as easy armor penetration.
Well, it's all about money, really, because like the cast armor is better, and they put it on the early ones, and they put it on the super late ones. Mm-hmm. Like the very late ones, like they had.
Well, I'm the same with German armor. Like I prefer late war German armor.
Yeah.
Yep.
They just got bigger and bigger
From the
guns.
Panzer 4 onwards.
Yeah.
Don't like the little stuff.
Speaking of German armour, I saw online that I don't know if it was a fully restored or nearly finished restored. I think it was a Nashorn.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Got burnt out in a shed.
Oh, that's so tragic.
Yeah.
The guy had been working on it for 5 years or something.
Yep.
And there was some fault when his shed caught on fire while he was doing the restoration. And
burnt the thing. The only thing left is basically just the body and an engine block.
Oh, dear.
Was that a Hummel?
Hummel, sorry. Yes,
and
a Hummel, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just can't look at those things.
Didn't Tamiya announce that they were releasing a Hummel?
Well, they might be.
Don't know.
Yeah, I think
I've
they did.
I've got the old Dragon kit.
Yeah,
in my stash because I like the Hummel. Yeah, I like the Hummel, the one where most crew members went deaf.
Yeah, well,
they did. Yeah, they went deaf because you enclosed space with that 88mm gun going off.
Yep.
That's a big lot of noise, and a lot of them suffered from deafness.
Well, you know what? I can relate to. I'll tell you a war story. So when I used to be in the army, I used to be in infantry, and then I did a one day.
You got to say back in the day, lad. When I was
back in the day.
When I was a lad.
When I was a strapping young boy.
Back in the day, we were walking through the bush, and we came across an artillery unit, and we'd been walking for hours and hours, so I was knackered. And there's these guys, they're sitting down and eating jelly and ice cream in the field. And I'm thinking, bloody hell, what am I doing humping a pack around with a rifle? And these guys sitting eating ice cream and bloody jelly in the field. So I thought, I did call transferred across to artillery. Wrong move. I never worked so bloody hard in all my life. But anyway, so to get to the story, so you have your gun line, your gun battery set up with about 3 guns in each battery. And I used to have this, I used to blow my mind coming from infantry. They used to have a speaker system. And from the command, you'd fire mission battery. It'll come rolling out of your hutches and your fart sacks and go running to your gun. And this happened one particular morning, like at 3 a.m. in the morning, we had an illumination shoot. And so I'm fast asleep in me fart sack and say, fire mission battery, and boom, just come rolling out, race to the gun, load it up, check all the angles and ready to fire. And just as I'm pulling the lanyard, I realised I didn't have my hearing protection in. Oh. And boom, and we fired about 6 shells, one after the other, bang, bang, bang. My ears were ringing for 2 days after that. And that's only a 105 howitzer. Mm. And so God knows what these guys put up with in an enclosed space with an 88 going off. Yeah. So I can really relate to it. Mm.
Did you get your ice cream after that?
Sorry, what? Can't hear.
Did you get your ice cream after that?
No! And this is a tragic thing. I joined the artillery. I didn't get any ice cream. I missed out.
I had a mate who actually went in the army years ago, and I said, did you join up the one that was local? And he said, that's artillery. Why would you want to join the artillery? You got to lob all that stuff around the place. And it's like, that makes sense.
Well, I thought I was getting out of it because you get transport everywhere in a truck. And I think, this is easy. No more bloody walking. But, of course, as soon as the truck pulls up and you unlimber the gun, you got to unload all that ammunition. And I'll tell you what, 105mm shells, there's a lot of it, and it's bloody heavy. And it's even worse once you've done your fire mission. You got to bug out really quick, so you got to quickly chuck everything back in, and you got to scoot within as fast as you can avoid the counter fire.
For counter fire, yep.
Oh, jeez. So the grass always looks green on the other side of the fence, but it's not necessarily so.
Yes.
That's my little war story.
That's your war story. There you go.
I've got lots more. I'll save them for other episodes.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
So, so I've got a good weekend planned ahead, hopefully. Get some more model building done.
Well, I'm itching to get back in my room. I really am.
Yeah, work on me boats for the rear deck.
Yep.
On the Shikaku. Wouldn't mind finishing off the funnels I've only done one funnel, so we'll do the other funnel. It's got some really, really tricky photo etch. The photo etch actually has to bend
Oh, it's a compound curve kind of thing,
on
isn't
both
it?
sides
Yeah.
because it's going over a rounded funnel.
Yeah, so like 2 axis of
Correct.
bending.
Yeah. So
And
that's gonna
it's
be
curvature.
fun.
It's curvature. It's not like bending it in a 90-degree angle or
Correct,
something.
yes.
It's
It's all curvature.
The best I find for that is actually the palm of my hand.
Yes.
I just laid in there and just use my
just use
finger
your
and
thumb.
just gently push it in.
Yep.
And it's amazing. You just do it by eye and it sort of works out.
Because the amount of work I got done on the Chicago over 3 days was really good, and I was just so happy to actually finally get some serious airbrushing done. It's been months since I've done some serious airbrushing.
How many pots of paint do you go through?
Nearly 2.
Well, that's not too bad. You thinned it all down to a half, so
Yep. Use the lacquers, Tamiya lacquers.
so you went through 4 pots.
How do they
effectively.
perform?
Very well.
I love it to me.
Very well.
lacquers.
The smell,
Love 'em.
though, like I had a respirator on, and I had the door closed and had the window open, and me alarms me smoke alarm was still going
Oh,
off.
seriously?
Yeah.
Setting a smoke alarm off?
Yeah, setting the smoke alarm off, and by the time I was finished, I was sky high, even with the respirator on. I was floating. It was crazy. I was going, oh, this is really good. It's probably half the reason I broke that bloody piece off in the first place.
Listening to Motorhead at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably reliving his misspent youth, teenage years.
It could be, mate. Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
jeez.
but no,
Open up, it's a bust.
Yes. Oh, was it? No, it was good. It was really good to hear.
Hey, wouldn't that be funny? You got raided by the cops, and all it is just the fumes from the Tamiya paint.
Yeah, I answer the door with your spray mask on. And they think I'm some dude from
It's
the
a meth lab.
Yeah, I'm like a meth lab or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yes. So no, and I've actually finished the base. So the base is done. Oh,
Yep.
that's a big 5 kilo base. That's a huge base, wooden base I got for that thing. Drilled some holes in there, so I've actually got bolts that run through the bottom of the base into the bottom of the ship. So that just gets bolted to the base. So there's no way that's going to move off the base.
Anywhere.
That ain't going nowhere.
Now, what did I see on Facebook the other day that a guy builds 350 scale models, and he actually floats them. He actually puts them in a sinker in his bath, and he weights them so that they float correctly.
Yep. I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
He had
thought
one
that's
in the
pretty
pool
cool.
and one in the bath.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of them was a Bismarck or something.
Yeah.
But 350 scale battleship, that you radio control. Like those old Tamiya kits.
Yeah.
A lot of them had you can buy them with the motorised version of those battleships.
Yeah, but the waves aren't the right scale either.
No, that's right.
I know. And as much as I enjoy looking at the Task Force 72, those guys are building 1/72 scale radio controlled ships. And it looks like a lot of fun, but you're right, the water just doesn't react the same as it does in the sort of full size, which is,
No.
Is
But
what
they
it
still
is.
enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Chris?
Well, I'm just going to keep on working away with the couple of kits I've got going. The Corsair. I've also got the Siren.
Didn't something break on the Corsair? You want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got the wings folded, and there's these little bars that sort of, when they're, the wings are folded and they've been stored, there's bars that come from the fuselage over to the wings. So when I drove it down to the club meeting, the wings must have been vibrating at a particular rate, and it actually snapped this little tiny piece of plastic. So,
Oh, that's annoying.
yeah, I'll have to
Make it out of brass.
That's a good idea, yeah. I actually make my pitted tubes out of brass.
Yep.
And you don't put the little end in, you just put the thicker part, make it out of brass, glue it onto the aircraft, and they just don't break. They don't fall off, they don't break. You can paint them with the aircraft.
Yep.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love it, because how many pitted tubes get broken when you're painting them?
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got to paint them with the plane.
Yeah, of course you do.
So you put a brass one in there, and then you get a really, really fine brass piece to go in the end. So yeah.
So what's your-
I don't break mine when I'm painting. I break them afterwards.
You break your guns.
I break a lot of things.
so what are the other aircraft you're working on, Chris?
Well, yeah, the Saran, 48 scale, the night fighter.
The stupid plane.
So what kit and what
The
scale?
ugliest aircraft.
Oh, the Mert, is it?
Yeah.
Or is that just a box?
Yep, it's the Mert. It's actually here. The listeners can't see it, of course.
So it's a Hasegawa 148 scale Nakajima C6N1-S Night Fighter.
Mm-hmm. And this has got the single 30mm cannon protruding through the canopy. And that's also for our club display. Very nice kit. It's going together quite nicely. There is a problem with the 30mm cannon. There's no location pins for it to sort of go in, so you got to sort of see where it goes. So that's the only fault I can find of the kit so
no
far.
photos of it for reference.
Yeah, well, it's actually a problem with the actual kit itself, because the kit itself was first released as a reconnaissance aircraft, and they re-released it with the 30mm cannon, then also with the 20mm cannons. But this particular kit, it's just a little bit vague where you're supposed to put the 30mm cannon.
Yeah.
So it was purely designed for home defence of the home islands against the
bombers and
bombers.
Yep. The Super Fortresses. This was a one-off aircraft, and it was a trial aircraft, and they only used it once. They did fire at a B-29. I'm not too sure if they
Probably
hit.
bent in half.
They did. They actually damaged the fuselage.
Yeah, bent the airframe.
Because it's a very lightly built aircraft. It's designed for to be a reconnaissance aircraft and fly high and fly fast. The Americans couldn't catch them once they're up there. So they were beautiful for their design.
They just look so silly.
Nice wide wings and.
Well, the US Army Air Force, I think their greatest loss rate was actually when they're flying over Japan with the B-29s was from the bomber itself, and all the issues they had with the engines and everything.
Oh, the propellers coming off in mid-flight.
They were losing. They lost something like 10-15%.
Yeah, they did lose a lot of aircraft. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was just to mechanical issues. That's let alone before you even got to sort of fly over the home islands and unload your bomb load. So
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's been said that the crews were all given cyanide tablets too. So if they got shot down over the home island, it was up to them, themselves.
I don't think they got the B-29 right until well after World War II, because they had lots of issues with the gun firing systems because they were remote controlled.
Computer rated.
Yeah. And it was analog computers back then. And they had a whole heap of issues with that particular aircraft. It was very expensive.
Brand new technology.
Well,
Yes.
I think, geez, you know what? I'm reaching my dim dark memory, but I'm pretty sure it was either the second most expensive project after the Manhattan Project, or it was even more expensive than the Manhattan Project building the B-29s. I can't remember which it was, yeah. I'm sure one of our listeners will know the truth of that, but and drop me a line or just say something on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, they're both connected, weren't they?
Well, actually, yeah, right. Yeah, they were both connected. I never thought of that. Yeah. But they had humongous problems with the action, and they didn't get it right until I'm pretty sure Korea, yeah.
Until the MiGs came along, and then they were in trouble.
Yeah, except the MiGs couldn't fly at night, so that's one thing.
And they gifted a number of them to the Russians so they could copy it.
Yeah.
And they had the Tu-4, the Bull.
Yeah.
Codename, the Americans named it the Bull. And that sort of technology is still flying today with the later, was it Tu-16s, I think they're called. The Chinese are still flying them today.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So, Julian, have you finished that Lightning yet?
Oh, it's super close to the end.
Super close to the end.
Super close.
Yeah.
What's super close mean?
Well, I can't remember if I mentioned this. How I with the side windows I put the decals on for no step.
Yeah.
So Lightnings are very well known for this little little decal, and so I put one on, put the second one on the other one. I'm like, cool. At some point I'll just matte coat these things because generally I don't have problems with decals coming off, but this one started to come right off. And by the time I got to the garage, I thought because I put some water on it and I pushed it down and everything, and it was all looking all right. Then when I got out to the garage, I went to airbrush it down with it because I was like, I really need to seal these in with a gloss clear, right? So I went to spray them off. As soon as I hit it with the air, it blew off like a. It blew up, and I could see it because it's like a little strip of decal, and it's like a ribbon, and it just started spinning as it fluttered down to the floor, landed in all the dust and everything.
I get that when I do paint some of my small photo etch. When you paint some of that small photo etch separately,
it blows off.
You hold the airbrush as far back as you can, and as low pressure as you can, and you just and next thing you know, little piece just goes twing. Luckily, it's always in my spray booth, so I can find it. But
my spray booth is filthy. I cleaned it out about 6 months ago, and I found a couple of parts that had gone missing.
Oh, really?
How they ended up in the spray booth, I got no idea.
How did you know that they were? How did you not notice them missing?
Well, I remember losing some parts when off a model.
Because he doesn't finish kits.
Dear listeners, that is not quite true.
So, will you have stuff finished before Expo?
Yes, I've got 3 kits waiting to go now.
Oh, okay. And I mean, like stuff that you're currently building.
I'm going to struggle to finish some of the stuff I'm building now. The aircraft carriers won't get in. I'm still waiting to hear back from Dragon about the missing part. They've acknowledged my claim, but they still haven't sent me a new part.
That stuff will never come through in time.
And the Hasegawa one, I still haven't I'm still disheartened from all that damage that the glue did to the hull. So it's fixable, but I just find it hard to bring myself to sort of fix it at the moment.
I've got to say about customer service. Edward got excellent customer service. I had a 110 48 scale, and the moulding wasn't quite right. So I emailed them. They emailed straight away. They gave me a case officer and a case number.
Wow.
Fantastic. Really good.
Airfix supposed to be quite good as well.
It's good.
But this Dragon kit's the first problem I've ever had with a kit. The 100 kits I bought. It's the first one where I've been missing a sprue.
A whole sprue.
And,
I've had a sprue missing on arrival with a kit. It was the Meng Bradley that I had.
Yep.
I contacted them and they emailed me back. Not immediately, but not in a lazy way. And they eventually sent it out, but it took a long time because I think what they do is they wait until they've got enough sort of orders of people requesting missing pieces, and then they send them all out at once or something. I know other people who have bought Meng kits also with missing sprues, so I think maybe they've got a bit of a quality
control issue.
Yeah, quality control issue.
Yeah, interesting.
Mind you, there was some 30 bloody sprues in that kit. It was really. I had to have them all standing up when I was building. I had to have them all standing up in the box vertically, and I went through them like files in a filing cabinet because there was just so many of them.
Yeah, but you think your quality control is not hard to count to 30, is it, when you're counting screws in a box? So you think that, they get that right.
Or if you have 30 people putting in one sprue at a time.
Somebody must have been sick that day. So worker number 29 wasn't there, and they just kept packing the boxes anyway. Oh dear! Look, I think we better wrap it up there, guys.
No worries.
All right, so parting words from Chris. I think we'll
keep on modelling.
Oh, we stole yours in.
That's all right.
What are you going to say?
Well, me? I'm kind of stumped now. Let's see, what can I say? Well, enjoy your hobby.
All right.
And love photo etch because it's your friend.
Julian?
Photo etch is not your friend. That's my advice.
We're looking for a sign-off saying, not advice.
I'm equaling out the things in this room. Yeah.
Julian's the grey man.
It's I don't mind photo etch. Just use it wisely. In the right place, in the right situation.
He doesn't get the concept of a sign-off, does he?
No.
All right.
That's my sign-off. All right. I just had to explain it a little.
What, model wisely?
Yeah. Model wisely.
Model wisely.
Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll be back in a fortnight. Well, we hope you enjoyed that episode, and as always, we really enjoy receiving messages and emails from you. So if you want to get in contact with us, you can send an email to onthebench64@gmail.com. Alternatively, you can go to Facebook and go to our Facebook page, which is called On The Bench. Just put that into the Facebook search engine and you'll find us that way. If you're still looking for some more scale modelling podcast, don't forget to pop over and have a look at our friends in Canada at the Scale Model Podcast. Just type that into your normal podcast app that you use and you'll find them that way. Until next fortnight, thanks for listening.